Hello, I'm Liz Lumley of Finextra, and today I'm speaking to Deutsche Bank's own Christian Westerhaus. And we're sitting down to have a conversation in preparation for this year's EBADay event in Helsinki. So the theme of EBADay this year is convergence. And that seems to be the buzzword right at the moment, even outside the transaction banking and payment space. So I really wanted to ask you, what does convergence really mean to this industry from a practical perspective?
If I look at the payment industry alone, which from the outside might be seen as a homogeneous industry within banking, still convergence can mean many things to many people, even people attending EBADay. I think that depends on whether you are focused on retail payments or wholesale payments, FI clearing, on standardization, on liquidity management, or on AML. So if I look at it, the retail payment space with regards to consumers, I would distinguish from corporate payments, for example. For the corporate payments, I see there is a gradual development curve with regard to what corporates want about payments and cash management. So they moved from simple payments via cash concentration, cash pooling through payment factories, collection factories, shared service centers, and so on. So they take step by step in that development curve and will take the next step only once the previous step has been successfully achieved, meaning efficient, effective, and almost risk-free processing. Whereas the developments in the retail payment space seem to be even more disruptive at this point due to entrance of new competitors, new technology, innovation towards end client applications, etc. With regard to standardization through SEPA, we have seen a lot of convergence to almost a single standard, interbank per se, yet also on the customer-to-bank space. We are also seeing this in the area of high-value payments, where ISO 20022 will become the standard within Target 2 and EBA Euro 1 in 2017. Still a long way to go, but already on the table for those who have to deal with this, because it's quite a massive thing. And for AML and compliance, it's about ever tougher regulations and standards. So can mean many things to many people. I think it's for each and every participant in EBADay to define the positives about convergence and see the context of those topics. Last but not least, EBADay is a great networking opportunity in the area of interbank payments, also for the cash clearing business. So that's the place where my colleagues meet their clients annually, and have a bit of focus also on European topics, because this is still a very big market.
So this is the first EBADay in the SEPA era. Every EBADay I've been to before has been this build up to SEPA end dates and SEPA compliance. So a lot of people in the industry are asking right at the moment, what does this mean? What innovative products can be built on top of this SEPA platform that Europe now has?
Firstly, I would like to say the industry, the market players, the stakeholders, the regulators should appreciate which big step has been made since last year when we met for EBADay and this year. So last year there was only a tiny fraction of payments which would comply with the SEPA standards, probably sub 5% in many markets, at least in Germany. This has moved for many players far beyond the 90% mark now. So more than 90% of the customer payments are already in the new SEPA formats, and this will move to 100% by August. There are already proposals on the table what could be next in terms of value-added services. Here I'm not speaking about individual value-added services that we are building as a bank. I speak about value-added services that are enabled by collaboration or convergence in the industry. This could be in the area of efficiencies, by standardization, by providing more more information services, for example, or even by developing additional features, for example, in the area of financing. Could be. However, I think with those new developments, if they happen, we have to follow a different approach than in the past with SEPA. When SEPA was built and executed, we had to agree on a common standard, on common basic standards between all industry players, which was a massive effort. And which also may explain that in many cases, but not always, the real market problems were addressed. One had to agree, one had to make compromises. And now with that, the basis has been laid. The schemes do work, the standards work. Yes, that's fine. If we are now building on top, it has to address real market problems, which shouldn't be just single country. It should be based on client needs, on actual client needs. The demand has to be pervasive. That means many have to demand it. And on top of it, there should be a business case. That means clients would be willing to pay for those value-added services, for these incremental services. And this requires that we have to have a very good process of defining for those collective value-added services what the buyer and user demand actually is, in a better managed process than when building the SEPA services in the first place, where all was about how can we lay down the common core basic standards.
Moving on, you mentioned in the first question that EBADay was really great for networking. And now it seems the dominant conversation of when will there be SEPA end dates is now off the table. So when you network at EBADay, what do you expect to hear as the dominating conversation among delegates this year?
I would expect that the discussions then go beyond the pure payment space, the wider value chain, go across the silos, if I may say so. So liquidity management has been a part of EBADay over the past years. I see it now becoming a more integral part.
A huge, last year has seen a huge increase in interest in liquidity management.
For example, through CRD4, the new regulations that come in, that is a driver. Also through the announcement of Basel, that there will be monitoring or reporting on intraday liquidity positions. So this has triggered this a bit, yet also the understanding of the wider value chain going beyond the pure traditional payment space. So liquidity management, yes, I expect that this will be a topic. Another topic will be to discuss the upcoming innovations in the retail payment space, I would say. To also discuss how far can collaboration go in that space. And also discussions about is there any disruptive innovation in the space of retail payments, and how would the players, the financial institutions, address this innovation in terms of building pipes for payment infrastructures, for example, or discussing the relevance for the payment systems and the payments as we know it. So I expect this will be another topic, yet the industry should always have the self-esteem to recognize what has been built by banks collectively to make those pipes and infrastructures work. So I think there is a strong basis on which participants in EBADay can discuss.
That's great, Christian. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Liz.